Welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie and this is katiecatnails. Today we're gonna go ahead and jump right into some Rosalind PR. They did send me this really awesome clear polygel. It is 60 mLs. I absolutely love the packaging on Rosalind's polygel. Each one has like its own little design. This one's kind of like snowflakes. It was a really good consistency, as is the other ones that I've used. Real quick, I just want to apologize to anybody who may watch regularly for my absence. I had a really bad bout of COVID. I did manage to edit and get out 2 videos in the middle of it, but I was a little bit under the weather for probably about an extra week and a half, 2 weeks after the whole COVID thing was even done with. I was not really able to motivate myself to get back into the nails. This set I actually pushed myself to do towards the end of actually being like sick with COVID. So you're gonna see a little bit of shenanigans. This video is definitely a reminder to myself that when it comes time to let myself rest, especially when you're not feeling well, that you really just need to do that, because the results are not going to be the most fantastic, but we'll get a little bit more into that later. The first thing I always do when I'm practicing, especially on my hand, is just getting the tips ready first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and file down the sides, crispen up the shape, and buff the shine away from the nail in order to get it ready for the polygel. And today I wanted to try something pretty cool. I think I want to try it again with acrylic later on down the line. Trying it with polygel, it turned out all right, but it was a really difficult process, just because the stickiness of the polygel. But you'll see what I'm talking about. And after I have, did all my filing and shaping and buffing, I'm just gonna go in with a layer of base coat just to prep the nail for the polygel. And I'm going to do this on all 4. I did not do a thumb in this set just because this was kind of just me like experimenting. And I had watched a video by one of my favorite Facebook nail tubers, Melissa Roca. She does really beautiful, unique sets. If you haven't checked her out, I highly suggest it. And I also just recently found out that she was on YouTube, so I've been hitting them videos hard. Her work is absolutely beautiful and she is just so creative. And I had seen a video where she had done some encapsulation with acrylic, so that's kind of where I got the idea for today. And here I'm just kind of pointing out the little colored metal shards that you can see, and this is what I'm going to be encapsulating today. So what I did was I basically took little dots of rhinestone glue over the base coat, and I did this on all 4 nails, and then I took different colors of the little metal shards and I placed them into the rhinestone glue before curing. And basically, so my idea was to kind of do what Melissa Roca had done, and like you see right here how it's like the little dots. It looked a lot better when she did it with acrylic. I'm not gonna lie, but the end result I'm not, too disappointed with. The polygel was a little bit difficult to try to figure out how best to do this. I tried putting it directly from the tube on the first nail. It took me a really long time to get that first nail. Then as you see here, I tried to take it directly from the tube with the spatula and add it to the little shards. That was also difficult. As you know, clear polygel is always a lot stickier than others. I did refrigerate this polygel before using it, but for some reason my AC just does not hit my dining room where my nail area is, so I was really struggling. I want to try to get like one of those little mini fridges, like beauty fridges, to put in my nail area so that when I am doing polygel, I can swap them in and out of the fridge just to try to kind of maintain that consistency. But so what I ended up doing to get the polygel to look more uniform was I used a lot of the isopropyl alcohol, and I dipped the spatula in the isopropyl alcohol when grabbing the bead, and then I put a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol on my fingertips and used that to kind of form, the beads of polygel into the little nubs for the encapsulation. So that's pretty much how I ended up getting it to work. It took a little while, obviously, for me to get the hang of it. Definitely probably would have been easier with acrylic, but this is what I wanted to do, so, I found a way to make it work. This was like a really fun set. I really wish that I would not have, because I stopped doing it halfway. The first finger I did the first day, and then I had to take a break, because of kids and stuff, and I was supposed to pick it up the next morning and finish the set for this PR video, but the next day is when I woke up really, really sick. I had the worst body aches, and I literally just could not move. I was pretty much confined to the living room and the couch so that I could be with the kids, and keep an eye on the baby and still die quietly, basically. So I did end up pushing myself to get up and finish this video after the first 2 days. And I wish that I would have waited, because I probably would not have made the mistakes that I made a little bit later on. So, going back and editing this video and, realizing the silly little mistakes that I made, I probably would not have made them if I would have been completely well. Because, like when you're sick, you don't think properly, especially like when you have COVID. This is the second time that I've had it. The first time really wasn't that bad, but this time I definitely felt the brunt of it. So now I'm very much like me and the kids when we go out. The baby, obviously, she's not going to wear a mask, but when me and my son go out, I absolutely make sure that we're wearing masks. We wash our hands, because this time was a little worrisome. The first time, it wasn't too bad, but this time was pretty awful. But, the last time I'm going to say on that, though, is like, if you're not feeling well, please give yourself time to rest. Don't push yourself to complete things. You're not going to be able to complete a project if you're dead. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm trying to like say all that, but you need to give yourself time to rest and make sure that you are good for you, because that's just the best thing to do. And I definitely learned my lesson with this set about pushing myself too hard, especially when sick. And that's going to be the last I say on that. But I just wanted to explain why my content has not been at all regular. I have a bunch of PR that I'm catching up on. So I wanted to give an explanation for that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I was sick. I had COVID. COVID sucks. What I also wanted to do with this nail set was the trend where, you glop on like a bunch of different colors of polygel and then you file it down and you see what the result is going to be. So I thought that it was a pretty good time to try that, considering that I was doing the little encapsulation design as well. I think that this came out super cute. Rosalind has some really beautiful pigmented polygels. I definitely enjoy working with them. They do heat up rather quickly though. Like my dining room, where my nail room is kind of like really warm to begin with, because it has a large patio door attached to it, and the sun is in the back where that patio door is for pretty much the whole morning and the beginning of the afternoon. So even with my light blocking curtains, the dining room and the kitchen still get pretty warm by the time the afternoon comes around. So that has a lot to do with it too. But the only thing I noticed with Rosalind Polygel is I don't know if it's because of the pigmentation, but it does tend to get a little bit softer quicker. To deal with that, I just was swapping the colors in and out of the fridge, taking breaks. so that they could harden up a little bit. And for this design, I didn't really have any super plan in mind about how I was going to put the colors. I was kind of just putting them all over the place, filling in the gaps between the encapsulated shards. And 3 of the fingers are different designs, and then the index and the pinky are the same 3 colors, just because I wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. The next finger that I did was the ring finger, and for this one I wanted to do white and blue, and this is kind of where things started to go south. This was like the 3rd or 4th day after me, the 3rd or 4th day of me being sick, and I was like, okay, I really got to get this video done because it was already a little bit behind as it was. And then I got sick, and you know, like I said, I was sick for like almost 3 weeks, and so not a lot got done, but like halfway between that I decided that I was going to push myself to get this video done, and I was just really not paying attention. You know, I was just focusing on getting it done and getting it out, and as you can see, I globbed the polygel on here. I did not do thin layers as I normally would. I just globbed it on there. In the end result, I really think that the colors look super cool the way that it ended up, but there were some issues with curing it because of how thick the layers of polygel were. That's why it's always best to work in thin layers, because I did end up with some squishy spots and a little piece of hair right there, you know, me and my cats. But yeah, so I did have some issues curing. I'll show you what I mean a little bit later on, because basically what'll happen is the top layer will cure and then the bottom, like the stuff inside, won't. And if you press on it, it'll feel like it's dry from the outside, but when you start filing, you're gonna hit that pocket of like soft product, and it's just gonna be like a big sticky oozy mess. You know, so that kind of stunk. But as you can see, like these colors, they blend so well together. I definitely really like the way that Rosalind's polygels blend. I think that they work, you know, it's not like, you know, sometimes you try to blend certain products together and it just doesn't work, or the colors don't overlap well. Rosalind's definitely, they blend so well together, and it makes for such like a smooth transition from one into the other. Now, this was the nail that I really had the biggest issue with of the product not curing. I don't know why I thought that this was a good idea. I know from the first couple times I did polygel what can happen if you put too much on the nail, but like I said, I wasn't really like paying attention. It's no fault of the product at all. This product is actually like one of my favorite polygels. I think it's a cross between this and Makart. I just really, really, really love the consistency and the pigmentation and the colors of their polygel. I think it's definitely user error. I definitely was not paying attention, and I made a huge mess of it because I did not take my time, and I was not patient, and I did not do thin layers and cure properly. So any of the mistakes that you see coming up are completely my fault. And even as you see here, because I put too much on is also the reason that it started to get gloopy, because the more product that you put on, the more time you're going to have to take to manipulate and work with that product, especially polygel. So it makes it more time that the polygel is now adjusting to the room temperature, because as I said, I had the polygel in the refrigerator before I started these nails, and the tubes tend to stay relatively cold, you know, the product inside of them. But because I put so much polygel on this nail, it took me so long to maneuver and manipulate it into the, you know, the desired shape, that it just heated up so much and just became a big sticky mess. And I was not about to go put the hand in the refrigerator, so that's kind of just what I ended up with. And I don't know what was going on with me, but as you can see, the gloopy application just got worse and worse. By the time that we got to this index finger, I was putting so much product on this nail. So, you know, this is definitely a testament to patience. Take your time, work in thin layers, just because you're going to save yourself a lot of work in the long run. I definitely think a lot of it had to do with me being sick and congested. And, you know, just, I don't know if anyone watching this has ever had COVID, but it is definitely a different type of sick. It definitely takes it a lot out of you, like more so than any other time I've ever been sick. So, you know, I was just going in the motions. You know, I was just trying to get this video done. And the nail set definitely turned out super cute. And I really think that these nails are really unique. And I definitely like the finished look. I definitely like the look that I achieved by the end. It's just I could have made it a lot easier on myself, but I didn't. But as you can see here, this is the nail that I had actually done first and taken my time on, and I applied thin layers. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with the 100 grit Tammy Taylor peel and stick file. And I'm just filing over the surface of the nail to kind of get it all one shape. And I'm just cleaning up the sides, cleaning up the end, and kind of bringing some of the larger bumps and ridges down. So that way when I go in with my e-file, I have less to do. And I just prefer, I know some people use an e-file for like most of their work, but I really do prefer a hand file when it comes to shaping. You know, and it's just a lot easier. I don't know how some of these nail techs, they use their drill to do their shaping, and their sidewalls just come out absolutely beautiful and straight and perfect, and I'm just not there yet. And now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my e-file and one of my ceramic safety bits. I decided to go with the ceramic safety bit because I was a little bit shaky at this point. So I wanted to make sure that if I did have any slip-ups, you know, I wouldn't like hurt myself too bad. I did make the mistake of grabbing the wrong like grit of safety bit. I should have grabbed the fine one, and I mistakenly grabbed one of the coarser ones. So it made it so that I had to go in and like hand file more at the end because how polygel is so soft, it was taking like really big chunks out of the polygel, and it was not making for like a smooth finish. So, you know, make sure you're using the right bit for the job. So, you know, I should have gone in with like a finer like coarseness for the drill bit, but I ended up using one of the coarser ones that I have, and it was definitely kind of like tearing up the product. So note to self to make sure that I'm grabbing the right tool. And here you can see where the drill bit went through the cured part of the polygel and ended up digging into the wet portion that was underneath. So I just cleared that off and I stuck it back in the lamp, which I actually had to do that a lot. I think I stuck the hand back in the lamp. It was also the index finger as well, the other red, white, and blue one that really needed to cure longer. I think I had to stick the hand back in for both of them to cure properly on 90 seconds, at least like 8 or 9 times. So the hand probably was in the lamp a total of like 40 minutes before it finally cured. So you can imagine how I was feeling at that point. But it did finally cure, and you know, then I was like, okay, cool, now I can finish what I'm doing. And you know, so I went back in, and here is that part where I finished up my filing. And as you can see, I did change my bit, so the index finger also did take a little bit longer, which was fine because the shape, you know, came out better because I wasn't using a bit that was like digging divots into the whole nail. This was just like a whole mess, and absolutely no fault of the product. It was definitely my fault. I was definitely not feeling well. I know that I keep saying that, but you know, I really want this to be an example of how sometimes it's not the product, it is us, you know, user error. And you know, how doing even something that you love and enjoy can turn into a hassle or a chore if you are not up to par, if you are not feeling well, if you have not slept. Did you eat breakfast this morning? Please, you know, did you eat with your coffee? You know, I see a lot of you know, Vines and, well, not Vines, TikToks. I don't even know if Vine is still a thing. I see a lot of TikToks and a lot of, like, you know, YouTube shorts and Facebook shorts of, you know, nail techs joking about how, oh, you know, they're like 5 clients in and they didn't eat that morning, and how they feel like they're gonna pass out. Don't do that to yourself. Because, you know, that wasn't even the case for me. I was just pushing myself while I was sick, and I definitely regretted it. Please, please put yourself first. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you're well so that everything else in your life can be well, especially your work and your art. You know, take pride in that and make sure that you put yourself first, because your health and your well-being is the biggest part of being successful. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're really not taking care of your business, and is the way I see it. These nails, as you can see, definitely still turned out super cute. I'm definitely gonna try this process with acrylic next time, but the concept came out really, really cute. I love that you can see the little bits through the polygel, but it was a struggle to get to this point. And it definitely could have been a much, you know, more organized set had I waited and given myself the proper, you know, healing time and rest, you know, that my body needed. And not just your body, your mind, you know, like all the butt kicking, you know, internally that I did because I was behind, and then I was sick, and then I was starting to get better, but I was still having like side effects, and I was still trying to push myself to get stuff done. You know, just don't do that to yourself. Because even with a great product like Rosalind, I still struggled because I was not physically and mentally ready to get up and do this set because of how sick I was. So just a forewarning to anybody watching this, you know, even if it's a completely different situation, this could apply to so many areas and aspects of, you know, different people's lives. A big shout out to Rosalind. When they did send me this product, they did send me a discount code, but because of how long it took me to get this video out, the code is no longer valid. So I do apologize to you for that. Hopefully they will send me more products in the future and I can get you guys another discount code. But for now, you know, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being patient while I've been away and getting better. Please enjoy this funky little nail set that I came out with. It's kind of like a little red, white, and blue camo. I'm digging it. Took me a lot to get this done, you know, but I did. And I will see you guys in the next one. Everybody, take care of yourself.